Hey guys, what's up? It's Frank here from Altcoin Buzz. I haven't been on the channel for a couple of years, but today, really, it's not about me. Guys, if you are investors, if you are traders, if you're serious about the market, especially if you're looking medium to long term, but even short term, I think now there's some very powerful and important major bullish signals that we need to be looking at. And I say major because right here you are seeing the monthly chart for Ethereum. Each one of these bars represents one whole month, and for those of you not familiar with technical analysis or TA, you may be just seeing red and green, but I'm going to tell you the story of Ethereum since 2017. But more importantly, I'm going to tell you how previous stories which have played out in Ethereum are now setting up, and how this may be the beginning of a fantastic new rise for Ethereum. Now guys, I am not a forever bull. I am a technical analyst. I'm a technical analyst. And so obviously we're also going to look at what some of the other analysts are saying in the market. A lot of people wanting to go short on Ethereum. I'm going to briefly go over these analyses, tell you what makes sense, what doesn't make sense about a couple of these analyses. We're going to very briefly talk about how the merge of Ethereum is playing a massive role in this, but I will actually be leaving the FA, the fundamental analysis, mostly to Matt. So of course, don't forget to subscribe to Altcoin Buzz. And otherwise, Ethereum merge, guys, it's on the rise. We will touch this. This is the time to be thinking about it, really at the beginning of this explosion of interest in Ethereum merge. And I'm going to be telling you why I think this is a very relevant chart, despite how boring it may seem, this search results for Ethereum. So, okay. Let's get started. Guys, remember, please, I am not a financial advisor. If anyone tells you they're a financial advisor, all it means is that they have some qualifications, from some certified person, but even no one can predict the future, guys. So please don't put all your hopes, and certainly please don't put all your money into trades, which I would recommend. Please exercise caution. And guys, I am the kind of person who wants to help you make your own decisions, and that's why in this video, as I always have in the past, I will be explaining to you my thought process so that you can think about it yourself and see what makes sense to you. So, and of course, this is the spirit of the crypto space, guys. If you've been here for any amount of time, you understand that cryptocurrency is about self-sufficiency. It's about being responsible for your own financial decisions. It's about, holding your own private keys. And very similarly with technical analysis, it's a matter of taking responsibility for the decisions you make. All right, guys, with that disclaimer, I am going to start telling you guys, 15.6% in the past 7 days for Ethereum. It's an exciting time to be in the market. Ethereum, of course, the second biggest cryptocurrency by market cap. So a 15.6% move in what is now almost a $400 billion market is very exciting. Now, why has this happened? I'm going to tell you about the technical analysis, the reasons, especially on this monthly chart. I'm going to walk you through why there's very good reason to be bullish for the months ahead. But before we do that, and before I give you some price predictions and a price analysis, I am going to briefly tell you guys about, of course, Ethereum, the merge of Ethereum. So some of you may know or have heard of Ethereum 2.0. A few weeks ago, the Ethereum community decided to stop using this term because it wasn't the most accurate term in terms of technical issues, and also in terms of some scammers telling people, oh, I'll convert your ETH1 to ETH2 tokens, so please don't fall for that scam. But yes, there was a successful March 15th launch of the Ethereum merge on the Kiln testnet. This was the final testnet before the upgrade through the public nets. And so obviously this has gotten the community excited to the upcoming the elusive, the proof of stake, which we've been waiting for years. There's always updates, but now it seems very likely that within a few months we will actually reach this milestone of actually upgrading to the first truly major important stage of the proof of stake. And as they mention here, since the successful launch of this Kiln testnet, the price of Ether has climbed 25%. But I'm going to show you why I think this could very well be just the very beginning of this price action. Now, according to independent global and macro research house MacroHive, The prospect of being able to make a passive return on staked Ether will attract more investors, fair enough. But the transition to proof of stake, now listen to this, will reduce Ethereum's energy consumption by 99.5%. The merge will also have a notable impact on the circulating supply of Ether, as the net issuance will undergo a significant drop-off. Now, the thing is that this is actually in a lot of ways the most exciting, the most important, the most rational reason for being bullish. And as they say here, this Macro Hive said here, this coupled with the ongoing Ether burning should make Ether deflationary, and this should be bullish overall. So obviously, if it's deflationary, it means that there's less and less coins available. So if the supply goes down and the demand stays stable, the price goes up. If the supply goes down, the demand goes up, then the price just skyrockets. So there's no way that this is bad. This is all good news for Ethereum. And of course, it could mirror Bitcoin halvenings, which of course are always the biggest talking point when it comes to cryptocurrency news. They only happen every 4 years. Okay, guys, that's it for the FA. Let's get on to the monthly chart. So first of all, I just want to show you how we have actually had a monthly bearish divergence. As you see, the price was going up here and the divergence was going down. This is not a good sign. We actually had one divergence on the RSI here, then we had another one down here, and of course this did lead to a massive cooling down for the Ethereum price. So that was somewhat expected to happen, at the very least a cooling down. And so now we've had that. What are we seeing now? So before I tell you from the beginning of the story, what are we seeing most recently? Guys, this is a very, very important candle pattern to be aware of if you're studying technical analysis. If you're interested in trying to predict price movements, this is called an inside bar. It means all the price action of this bar is contained within the price action of the previous bar. What this means is that the traders are essentially uncertain of where it's going to go. There's a lot of uncertainty. And if this bar by the 1st of April can finish bullish, in other words, if we can have a close of this bar above the high of the previous bar, which was $3,283, this will be a very, very good sign for the future. Now, if you don't believe me, let's have a look at Ethereum's history of inside bars. What's the first time we had an inside bar? You could say technically this was an inside bar, and then certainly this was a very traditional inside bar in October 2017. What did we have? 3 big green dildos, also known as 3 white soldiers. Massive, massive price increase here, approximately 435% after breaking bullish from this inside bar. So if you had bought, at the close of this inside bar, you could have potentially made up to 233% in returns. Now, the next time we had an inside bar, again, which broke bullish, over here we had more or less one over here. You can see this bar was more or less contained within the previous bar. We had, as you can see, another sort of attempt to break out, and then another explosion of 171%. Next time we had one was, let's see, inside bar over here, right? Over here you can see this bar was this candle was mostly contained within the previous candle. What happened after that? Massive, monster, unbelievable explosion to the upside. And note how we had yet another inside bar over here. And again, this marked the beginning of the most just unbelievable rocket explosion for Ethereum. We went from, so again, if you had have bought at this first inside bar over here, let's say this one over here, right? This was an inside bar. We had a bullish break from that, which ended here at the price of $235. I need to zoom out just to show you guys how incredible this movement would have been. It would have been basically just unreal percentage-wise, like stupid money we're talking here. So again, as I say, it's very exciting times now. What's going to happen in this month? We only have 3 days left. There's a good chance we will break bullish from this. Even if we don't, even if we have more sideways price action, as long as we maintain the higher lows, it's going to be fantastic. Now guys, Ethereum in the long term, again, we're always looking for higher highs, higher lows. The month clearly has been showing this ever since December 2018. High, higher low, explosive, unreal higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So this is a very, very healthy sign for the market. Now that's the first thing, the inside bar, which is very exciting. Now the second thing is the lower wicks. So what we're looking for here is two or more bars in all of Ethereum's history, two or more candles in all of Ethereum's history within which the lower wick, that's this line below the body of the candle, represents approximately 50% of the entire candle, 50% or more ideally. Or very simply put, if you visually can see a long line below a candle, a very long line, that's basically a long lower wick. So the first one, as you can see here, was in January 2022. Now this represents approximately 35% of this entire candle. But as I said, visually speaking, you can see it stand out. It's a longer wick. What did we have? A second candle with a long wick pushing up. Now, incidentally, we have a third one here as well, which is a very, very good sign. Think of it as like a trampoline. It's like the price is coming down to this trampoline. It's not coming down. It's bouncing back up. And the only natural thing when you keep on bouncing is that you want to bounce higher, right? You bounce higher and higher. So this is like a very strong ground support. But look at what happened the last times that we've seen this in Ethereum's price history. So again, here we are looking for two or more long lower wicks. The first one clearly in December 2007, in August 2017, 1, 2 here, just massive explosion. This was also where we saw the inside bar, incidentally. Other lower wicks. Here you see you have two wicks, but they're very, very tiny wicks. So these don't represent long wicks. The next time here we had one wick, which was a little bit long, but again, we're looking for two. So we don't really have it until, when did we have it last? Here in May 2021. Again, here we have three candles with long lower wicks, very bullish sign. And obviously we had also an inside bar here. Again, inside bars, guys, these patterns show up again and again. If you pay attention to them, you can make potentially great decisions, or at least they will aid you in making decisions. But again, I am not the financial advisor. The decisions are yours to make, all right? But yeah, look at this. Many lower wicks here, which led to, again, if you would have bought at the close of this final lower wick, just insane returns. So what I'm saying is that now, again, we have an inside bar which could break bullish. If it does, then that would be great. But even if we don't, we already have these wicks. Again, we have the higher highs, higher lows. We are in a bullish market. The bulls are in control when it comes to the monthly chart. Okay, so now let's go down to some lower time frames. So there's a lot of patterns and things here. I'm going to make it really simple for you guys. We're going to first of all go down to the 1 day time frame. And as you can see here, we are in this what's called a channel. These two diagonal but parallel lines here, starting from January 2021. And as you see, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches almost at the bottom, two very notable pivot points, touches at the top. And so the exciting thing is, of course, that we are very close to the bottom of this channel. And this means that the price action, according to this channel, will be somewhere within this range for a foreseeable amount of time. Now, that is not a lot of information. So let's have a look at what this green box means, first of all. This green box represents the support level for a number of reasons. Guys, if someone tells you there's support here, the question to ask is why, and not just one reason, but multiple reasons, okay? We want what's called convergence of factors which lead us to being able to make certain statements. So the reason why I draw this as a support line, okay, number one, we have this channel which people will be watching if we get back down to this line. Number two, we have, as you can see on the volume profile here, a lot of price action over here. This represents, yellow and blue bar here represent the volume, the amount of money that was traded at this price of approximately $3,000, meaning that a lot of people were fighting back and forth at that level, and the fact that we're above that is a good sign. Now, the top of this line represents the previous pivot point over here back in September 2021. Again, around the $2,700 mark, we used that pivot point to have a massive move up. So and then we came back down, we grinded along this box. So really, this is a very important support zone if we even get down to it. That's the exciting part, guys, that we may literally just go up and up from here. The next target, if we really do keep on going up and up, is also, this is exciting because right now there's very little price action. I'm just going to show you this over here through the volume profile. It's a very valuable indicator. You need to pay for this. You need a pro version of TradingView to see this. But as you can see in the volume profile here, as I said, whenever there's long bars here, long horizontal bars, it means there's going to be either resistance or support at that level, or that there's just going to be a lot of fighting back and forth. But if there are very, very small bars like here, that means the price can just explode right through that, because no one's really interested in those prices. People are only looking at prices above or below. So the price above this, again, if we were to just continue pumping from now, we could potentially see Ethereum have another sort of 12 to 20% rise over the coming week or weeks, or even less. As we all know, Ethereum crypto is can be quite explosive. Okay, so now we have the major support and resistance zones. We have the general area of within which we're trading. Let's have a look at some of the patterns. So first of all, a pattern which a lot of people were looking at was this triangular pattern over here. Now you have touches at the top, at the bottom, and as you can see, we've broken out of this, which is a bullish sign. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of volume breaking out of this channel, so that is a little bit concerning down here, as you can see. Furthermore, we are at a high on the RSI. You can see we're going above the 70. We have faced resistance at this level before. It doesn't mean that we're going to crash down from here, but what most often happens is that we have some sort of stabilizing effect if we reach some sort of previous highs in the RSI, which we've struggled to break through. So, and that in combination with this sort of minor resistance zone over here, which I've marked in this red box. So this is, I mean, to some extent this is resistance because we haven't yet reached the top of it. To some extent it's support because we've already broken through the bottom of it. Now again, this red box is marked by, the bottom of this box is marked by the intermediary peak in volume that we had at the 3,150 level and the previous local high at 3,192, another previous local high at 3,300, and then finally this level, which I think if we break this, really this $3,389 level, if we break through that, especially with a close on the daily candle, I would say it's very likely that we will be on our way not much longer before we make at least a sort of a 9% rise from there. Okay, so this is the sort of bullish scenario, the bullish chart pattern that you know you can look at. Now the thing about trading is that there's always bullish and bearish ways of looking at it. And if we go to tradingview.com, you can see some people are forecasting short. They're basically bearish on the market. So let's have a look at a couple of these analyses. Here we're looking at this rising wedge pattern, which is actually on the 4-hour chart. So let's have a brief look at that to see what that was all about and if it's still relevant or not. So this is the 4-hour chart. I have the rising wedge over here. Let's bring it up. The rising wedge that this trader was talking about is this one. Let's zoom in for you guys now. And as you can see, this is actually a bearish pattern, right? So the reason why they're bearish is that more often than not, this breaks bearish. So they were waiting for a bearish break. But what's interesting is that now we've seen the opposite. So you see a lot of traders may have preemptively decided to enter a bearish trade here, and they got stopped out, especially when we broke above this bearish wedge to the upside. So this, and actually on the 4-hour, there is quite a bit of a volume spike here. So, and now let's have a look at another analysis which was made here. So this was a bit of an awkward one, which I saw. It's on the front page, but here he talks about, look at the rising wedge pattern. So we mentioned that was on the 4-hour chart, although here he indicates the 1 day if it is a he. And he talks about, you have this this horizontal line here and this diagonal line. Now this is actually represents an ascending triangle, and the reason is this analysis actually doesn't make a lot of sense, because he's kind of making the assumption that we might reach for a double bottom here, which is kind of pushing it. I don't think it's very likely we get that anywhere down to sort of these lows of 2,200. Certainly not staying there for more than a day or two, because as I mentioned before, there is an important support zone here, the bottom of which I marked as $2,370. I think it's unlikely that we have any 1-day candle closes below that level. But what he is talking about is this ascending triangle. So an ascending triangle essentially is, the logic goes like this. Okay, if we have this diagonal line where we're seeing touches on that line, and then we have 1, 2, 3 touches on the top of this triangle. This is actually a bullish pattern, and what it says is that, okay, we've had resistance at here, it's precisely the $3,280 level. If we've had resistance there multiple times, then when we finally do break through it, it's like, okay, you know, there's like a release of all this tension that's been building up, and then it can act as support. We don't yet have a confirmation candle which has taken us out of this triangle, but what it does suggest is that, you know, we might come down again and find support, you know, around this sort of $2,700 region. Again, in this green box that I mentioned here, this would be a very major support zone, an interesting buying level if we were to reach it. And then finally, another way of looking at this, which is also relevant, I think, is this channel over here. You can see that we have many touches on this part of the channel. Then over here we have again the wicks here. I'm drawing it at the candle closes instead of the wicks. Another touch here, another touch here, one touch here. Potentially this could add as another resistance, and then again, as I said, we would have a lot of room for growth, even if we have a move down to even up to $2,600. But certainly in the short term, it seems the bulls are in control. The daily chart is on a uptrend, high, higher low, higher high. This is more or less a consolidation, so basically just a massive pump up here on the daily. And that is of course why the daily is reaching this oversold. It's getting a little overheated now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a higher low on the daily at some point to just cool down a little bit before having another big move up. But guys, really, this is the short term. I really want to point out how now is a very, very exciting time to be thinking about, you know, entering some trades for Ethereum. Maybe one thing which I'm considering is dollar cost averaging over the coming weeks, because you see over the coming days even and weeks, because when the monthly chart is looking so bullish like this, yes, on the daily time frame we can see some shocks, but on the monthly chart it's just a very solid, reliable time frame. Guys, this is the time frame which the most traders are looking at, really, because certainly it's the most critical one. I'll tell you why. First of all, long-term investors, they don't care about any time frame other than the monthly, all right? Like the long term. They only want to know the monthly, and if they see a signal on the monthly time frame, they're like, okay, they'll buy in. A lot of them will use the weekly chart too. But even like the medium-term investors who principally look at the daily and the weekly charts, like they use the monthly time frame as context for the longer-term trend. So they're able to base their decisions. Part of their decisions is based on the monthly chart. Okay, now of course, if you're trading on the 1 second, 5 second time frames and you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie, you're probably not going to care about the monthly. But the point is that the monthly is the bigger picture. It's what everyone looks at, and then you only zoom in as you get further down. But I think it's a very exciting time to be looking at Ethereum price. And as I say, I'm definitely going to be looking to investing myself, probably dollar cost averaging, maybe entering some shorter term trades. Now, another thing which I find exciting is, and it may not look exciting at first, but this is the Ethereum Google Trend Search. So as I said, there's a lot of excitement in terms of the technical analysis, in terms of the fundamental analysis, but people are just not searching much for Ethereum. So what does this mean? Well, as we've mentioned in our Altcoin Buzz channels, we have the Altcoin Buzz Access and the Altcoin Buzz Signals. The bear market is where you make the best investment decisions, all right? So right now we're not actually technically in a bear market, we're stabilizing, but it certainly looks from this chart here that, you know, we are really in this long stabilizing period. And look at how little interest there is compared to, you know, before. Now is the time to be getting in. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice to you, but certainly my personal opinion. And again, when you get down to the real crypto space, so people are actually checking the news on a regular basis, you will see that Ethereum Merge, which essentially is the new term for Ethereum 2.0, has had an explosion in interest recently. So this is the Google Trend Search assume that we will reach a peak in searches for Ethereum Merge within this March 20th to March 26th time period. They haven't yet finalized that, but it seems likely that a lot more people are going to be searching. This is just the beginning of the explosion in interest for Ethereum Merge. Okay guys, that's been it from me today. I know you guys, I'm sure you missed my videos and especially my bald, shiny head. But I will be back for several more videos, many more videos to come over the coming weeks and hopefully months and even longer. So let me know down in the comments below, are you buying into Ethereum? What did you like about the analysis? What would you have liked to have seen more of? Guys, I'm not one of these crypto guys who's always telling you like that I know what's right. I love to get like analysis and feedback. I love to have a conversation, have a communication with you guys. So let me know what you're thinking, what's going on with your portfolio, and don't forget to subscribe to Altcoin Buzz YouTube channel. Of course, we have Altcoin Buzz Twitter, which has been growing quite a lot recently. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next one.